Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Abhineet Shukla and with me is Aditi Lumba bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India's Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu embarks on a three-nation tour to Gabon, Senegal and Qatar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that his government is committed to fulfill the pursuit of service, good governance and welfare of the poor. External Affairs Minister of India Dr. S. Jaishankar says 8 years of Modi government's foreign policy has people at its center. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh emphasizes on free and open Indo-Pacific region for India's maritime security and global prosperity. Nepal authorities recover 21 bodies out of 22 people from wreckage of Tata Airline plane. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says that US view on China and on China-US relations are seriously miscalibrated. Param Anant, a supercomputing facility commissioned at Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar in Gujarat. And in French Open tennis, Rohan Bopanna and his Dutch partner Mortem Dilkoop take on Lloyd Glasspool and Harry Heliovara in men's doubles quarterfinal. Indian Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu embarked on a three-nation tour to Gabon, Senegal and Qatar on Monday. He is accompanied by a high-level delegation including Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Bharti Pawar, and 3 members of Parliament, Sushil Kumar Modi, Vijay Pal Singh Tomar and P. Ravindranath. This is the first ever visit from India at the level of Vice President to all the 3 countries. The Vice President's visit to Gabon and to Senegal will add momentum to India's engagement with Africa and also emphasize its commitment to the African continent. The visit to Qatar, as both sides prepare to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations, will further enhance the bilateral ties. A number of bilateral documents are expected to be concluded during the visit to the 3 countries. During the first leg of his visit to Gabon from 30th of May to the 1st of June, the Vice President will hold delegation-level talks with Prime Minister of Gabon, Rose Christian Osuka Raponda. He will also interact with the business community in Gabon and address the Indian diaspora. During the second leg of his visit to Senegal from 1st to the 3rd of June, Mr. Naidu will hold delegation-level talks with President of Senegal, Macky Sall. The Vice President will meet President of the National Assembly, Mustafa Niasse, and other dignitaries. He will also attend a business roundtable and address the Indian community. During the third and the last leg of his visit to Qatar from the 4th to 7th of June, the Vice President will hold delegation-level talks with Qatar's Deputy Amir, Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Thani, and review bilateral cooperation. Mr. Naidu will meet several other Qatari dignitaries during this visit. He will also address a business roundtable in Qatar. In India, the Narendra Modi-led NDA government has completed 8 years on Monday. On this day 3 years ago, Prime Minister Modi took oath of office for the second time. In these 8 years, the government has taken several steps for the benefit of citizens. Mr. Modi said that his government is committed to fulfill the pursuit of service, good governance and welfare of the poor. On completion of 8 years of his government, the Prime Minister said, the last 8 years have been about fulfilling people's aspirations. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said, Vikas Yatra section on the Namo app highlights this development journey. He said there is an unmissable section on the Namo app which showcases 8 years of service through quiz, word search, guest teammate section and more. He urged the people, especially the youth, to have a look of this section. Seva, Sushasan and Garib Kalyan have been the mantras of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's work over the last 8 years. In every scheme and every initiative, 100% saturation is being pursued so that none is left behind. Be it in rural or urban areas, women or socially marginalized, farmers or youth, every section of society has seen their lives being transformed. Due to a strong and decisive government, Atmanirbhar Bharat is emerging as a global force for the good. Now, let us know how the lives of people have become much easier as the government has given special focus on the ease of living.
The new India is redefining ease of living in tune with the rising aspirations New generation infrastructure is making life comfortable. For the taxpayers, government has given relief, like there is no income tax for income up to 5 lakh rupees. Startups have been exempted from an angel tax, and there is no income tax for the first 3 years of operation. Pre-filing of income tax returns, reducing time and effort to file the ITR, and electronic verification of IT return and appeals have been convenient to people. GST exemption for small businesses doubled to 40 lakh rupees. There has been aggregate savings of 4% on household expenses monthly. Government has also lowered tax on essential items like milk powder, wheat, tea, sunflower oil and sugar. With Naseem Naqvi, Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, has said this day marks 8 years of Narendra Modi's government's foreign policy that has people at its centre. In a series of tweets, Mr. Jaishankar said this is a diplomacy for India's development, security and civilization, and a diplomacy that serves its people. Dr. Jaishankar said there have been sweeping changes in passport delivery, which makes it faster, corruption-free and closer to people's location. He added that Narendra Modi's government has ensured safety and security of Indians abroad through Vande Bharat mission during COVID, Operation Ganga in Ukraine and many more. Dr. Jaishankar said welfare fund has been expanded for workers and the vulnerable. He said there are greater work opportunities for Indian talent, professionals, workers and students. He stressed that NDA government is supporting Indian investments and exports and creating employment at home. It is supporting citizens as they explore the global workplace. The minister said the foreign policy of NDA government ensures national security through trusted relationships and international support. In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a special program on achievements of NDA government.
New India is redefining ease of living in tune with the rising aspirations. In his first Independence Day address from the ramparts of the Red Fort, after becoming the Prime Minister for the second time, Mr. Modi had reiterated people's will and his government's firm commitment.
हमारी भी जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि हम देशवासियों की ईज ऑफ लिविंग को बढ़ाएं। इसके हमें प्रोएक्टिवली काम करना ही होगा। हमें इस बात को सुनिश्चित करना होगा कि सामान्य मानवी को रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में सरकार से जूझना ना पड़े। ईज ऑफ लिविंग सुनिश्चित करने में एक और चीज अहम भूमिका निभाती है। हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था, हमारी पर कैपिटा इनकम $5 ट्रिलियन अर्थव्यवस्था बनाने का लक्ष्य है, उसके पीछे सोच भी यही है।
In the first term of the government, the nation made remarkable strides in fulfilling its basic needs, such as achieving sanitation, village electrification, pakka houses for crores of Indians. Even globally, the measures to ease people's lives have received recognition. A WHO report stated that Swachh Bharat mission averted 3 lakh deaths, which would have occurred due to diarrheal disease and protein energy malnutrition (PEM) since its launch in October 2014. Former Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, Dr. Rajiv Kumar says this is one of the most ambitious campaigns of the world which has long-term impacts.
जो लोग सबसे निचले स्तर के हैं, जिसको कहा जाए लाइन के सबसे आखिर में है या बॉटम ऑफ द पिरामिड में है, उनकी जिंदगी को बेहतर करना एक बहुत अहम लक्ष्य था इन नीतियों का। इसमें जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट स्कीम्स रही हैं उनमें स्वच्छ भारत या उज्ज्वला प्रोग्राम रहा या सौभाग्य रहा, जिसके तहत हर एक घर में बिजली पहुंचाने का काम किया गया, और जल जीवन जिसमें कि हर घर में नल पहुंचाने की बात की गई। तो इन सभी फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स ने मिलकर हमारी जिंदगी को पहले के मुताबिक बहुत बेहतर कर दिया है।
पानी की कमी से देश के कई हिस्से हर साल प्रभावित होते हैं। जन भागीदारी से, जनशक्ति से इस संकट का भी समाधान कर लेंगे।
Government's Infrastructure Vision 2025 aims to achieve 3 targets: meet aspirations, propel growth, and facilitate ease of living. With increased workforce engagement in the services sector, metropolitan cities projected to increase from 46 in 2011 to 68 in 2030, the nature of India's economic activity will shift from agrarian-dominated to service-centric. Road connecting villages and cities are giving huge benefits to people and changing their lives. For the taxpayers, government has given relief like there is no income tax for income up to 5 lakh rupees. Startups have been exempted from angel tax and there is no income tax for the first 3 years of operation. Speaking to AIR News, business analyst Udayan Rai said, through GST, India has fulfilled the dream of one nation, one tax.
जीएसटी का सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट योगदान ये है कि एक इनफॉर्मल इकोनॉमी जो कैश के ऊपर चलती थी, जहाँ पे कोई जवाबदेही नहीं थी, उससे ये फॉर्मल इकोनॉमी में आ गई है। भारत देश जो कई राज्यों से बना हुआ, उसको एक सिंगल मार्केट बनाने में जीएसटी का सबसे बड़ा योगदान माना जाएगा। जीएसटी में एक जो फायदा ये रहा है कि डॉज करना, टैक्स की चोरी करना बहुत मुश्किल हो गया है।
Ranjit Mehta of PhD Chamber of Commerce says, RERA has given lot of confidence to middle class who dream of having a house of their own.
पहले क्या होता था कि हमारे देश में हाउसिंग सेक्टर में, रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर में धोखाधड़ी होती थी। जिस तरीके से प्रधानमंत्री जी ने रेरा लाए, तो रेरा के लॉ आने के बाद जो भी सीरियस रियल एस्टेट डेवलपर्स नहीं थे, वो इस बिजनेस से ऑटोमेटिकली बाहर हो गए और लोगों का जो विश्वास है वो एक रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर में दोबारा जागृत हुआ।
The center is providing several opportunities to the middle class and working hard to fulfill their dreams.
चाहे हमारा कृषि का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे हमारे लघु उद्योगों का क्षेत्र हो, चाहे हमारे नौकरी पेशा करने वाले समाज के लोग हो, ये करीब करीब सभी लोग एक प्रकार से भारत का मध्यम वर्गीय बहुत बड़ा संपुट है और मध्यम वर्ग से निकले हुए प्रोफेशनल्स आज दुनिया में अपना डंका जमा रहे हैं और इसलिए ये बात तय है कि मध्यम वर्ग को जितने अवसर मिलते हैं वो अनेक गुना ताकत के साथ उभर करके आते हैं और इसलिए मध्यम वर्ग को सरकारी दखलंदाजी से मुक्ति चाहिए। मध्यम वर्ग को अनेक विध नए अवसर चाहिए और हमारी सरकार लगातार मध्यम वर्ग के इन सपनों को पूरा करने के लिए काम कर रही है।
The speed with which facilities for the middle class have been provided in our country in the last 8 years, from villages to airports to IT sector, is perhaps unparalleled. This is Ramya for World News All India Radio.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has stressed on the need to maintain maritime preparedness in the constantly changing global scenario, terming it as a crucial aspect safeguarding the economic and strategic interests of a nation. Speaking after inaugurating the 3-day 39th Commanders Conference of the Indian Coast Guard in New Delhi on Monday, Mr. Singh shared his views on the importance of a free and open Indo-Pacific region, terming it as an important aspect of India's maritime security and global prosperity. He exhorted the Indian Coast Guard ICG to unlock India's true potential as a reliable investment destination by ensuring a safe and secure exclusive economic zone. The minister also commended the professionalism and dedication of the ICG and said that its unparalleled performance has made it one of the best and largest coast guards of the world. Defence Secretary Dr. Ajay Kumar, Director General ICG V.S. Pathania and other senior officials of Defence Ministry and the ICG were present on the occasion. In Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists were killed on Monday in an encounter with security forces that broke out at village Gundipura in Pinglena area of Pulwama district. The joint operation was carried out by 55 Rashtriya Rifles, 182 and 183 Battalion of Central Reserve Police Force CRPF, besides Special Operations Group SOG of Jammu and Kashmir Police in the area after the receipt of a special intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in the area. The identity of the slain terrorists is yet to be established. 2 AK-47 rifles were recovered from their possession. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
In Nepal, authorities have recovered 21 bodies out of 22 people who were on board a plane that crashed into a Himalayan mountainside on Sunday. Fate of one person is unknown. 4 Indians, 2 Germans and 16 Nepalese passengers were on the plane that crashed 15 minutes after taking off from the tourist town of Pokhara, 125 kilometers west of Kathmandu. The passenger plane operated by a Nepalese carrier, Tata Air, was on a 20-minute flight when it lost contact with air traffic control 5 minutes before it was due to land. The wreckage of the plane was recovered in Mustang district in northern Nepal. Officials said the government has formed a panel to investigate the incident. Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that the U.S. view on China and on China-U.S. relations are seriously miscalibrated. Mr. Yi, who is on a visit of 8 Pacific Island countries, said this is on Saturday in Fujian, capital Suva, in a sharp response to a recent policy speech by his American counterpart Antony Blinken last week, who described China as the most serious long-term challenge to the international order. During his ongoing marathon 10-day visit of 8 Pacific Island countries, Mr. Yi said expected to encourage Pacific countries to sign a sweeping regional economic and security deal with China, intensifying geopolitical race, to quote the region's nations, which started with the news of China planning to build a military base in the Solomon Islands. Addressing an audience at US-based George Washington University on Thursday, Mr. Blinken said China is the only country with both the intent to reshape the international order and increasingly the economic, diplomatic, military and technological power to do it. The Biden administration's approach will be invest, align and compete, he said, adding that although the US does not see conflict with China, it is prepared to defend its interests. The Chinese Foreign Ministry hit back by terming Blinken's observations as a smear campaign by the US.
The Param Anand, a supercomputing facility under the National Supercomputing Mission, NSM, jointly steered by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and the Department of Science and Technology and implemented by the Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, has been commissioned at the Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Gandhinagar, in Gujarat on Monday. The new facility will provide a tremendous amount of computational power to the scientific community of IIT Gandhinagar as well as the academic institutions and industries in the vicinity of the institute to take their research and development efforts to a global scale. It will also accelerate and strengthen the institute's collaborative R&D activities. In MIFF 2022, various packages based on variety of films subject categories are introduced. In animation film category, Japan and India will have special screening of animation films Ramayana, The Legend of Prince Ram and Mighty Little Bheem, I Love Taj Mahal. The specially designed package Icelandic animation is one of the attraction of this year's MIFF. More from our correspondent.
The specially designed package Icelandic animation at MIFF 2022 comprises of 4 films which are very unique with unusual yet complicated subjects like volcanoes, glaciers and northern lights. But what many people don't know is that Iceland has also got an evolving industry of animation films. Come to this edition of Mumbai International Film Festival to have a sneak peek into the amazing world of animation offered by the Iceland nation of Iceland. Srimati Dhauni Desai, Mumbai-based international award-winning animation filmmaker, curator and poet, curated this package at MIFF 2022. Bhavna Gokhale, All India Radio, Mumbai.
Summer months are when most students decide their university plans and those planning to go abroad look at visa options. Lots of parents and students have misconceptions about a US visa. AIR News brings an exclusive in conversation with US Embassy Visa Chief Dawn Heflin and Education Attaché Anthony Miranda to clear the doubts on the whole US university admission and visa process. Anthony Miranda, the countrywide Cultural and Educational Affairs Councillor, said it is the right time for Indian students to pursue their higher education in the United States.
We're really encouraging Indian students to consider the United States for higher education. Actually, there's no better time to do that. Universities are hungry and excited to welcome Indian students to their campuses. We recognize that Indian students contribute so much to the atmosphere, the academic rigor, and it makes American universities better. So we're excited to have them.
Dawn Heflin, the Ministerial Counselor of Consular Affairs, said the U.S. Embassy and consulates in India are coping with the demand for appointments of visa interviews of students and hope to issue more student visas than the record number of 62,000 issued last year to students joining the U.S. universities.
Couple of weeks, we will open up tens of thousands of appointments for the period July 15th to August 15th. We've already made plans to interview more students this year than we've ever interviewed before. Last year, we broke the record for the number we've issued, 62,000, and we hope to break that again this year.
At the stock markets, rising for the third straight day, key indices posted solid gains of nearly 2% each today, and the rupee gained 3 paise against the dollar. Global crude oil prices hit $120 a barrel. A report from the business desk.
At the stock markets, rising for the third straight day, the Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange shot up 1,041 points or 1.9% to end at 55,926 today. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange surged 309 points or 1.9% to 16,661. At the global stock markets, Asian markets ended sharply higher today. So Japan's Nikkei index climbed 2.2%, China Shanghai Composite Index rose 0.6%, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index advanced 2.1%, South Korea's Kospi Index climbed 1.2%, and Singapore's Straits Times Index inched up 0.3%. In Europe, the London's FTSE 100 had gained 0.2%, France's CAC 40 had climbed 0.9%, and Germany's DAX had risen 0.8% in the intraday trade. Global crude oil futures traded higher as traders waited to see whether a planned European Union meeting would reach an agreement on banning Russian oil imports. So the Brent crude futures contract for July gained 79 cents to trade at $120.22 a barrel. The US crude futures added 75 cents to $115.82 a barrel. And at the forex market, the rupee appreciated 3 paise against the US dollar to close the day at 77 rupees and 54 paise. Nishit Kumar for World News, All India Radio.
In French Open tennis tournament, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Dutch partner Motte Middelkoop, after taking on Britain Lloyd Glasspool and Finland's Harri Hiliovara in the ongoing men's doubles quarter-final. In men's singles, Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, Alexander Zverev, Carlos Alcaraz, Casper Ruud have already entered the quarter-finals. In women's singles, Veronika Kudermetova, Daria Kasatkina, Martina Trevisan, Leila Annie Fernandez, Coco Gauff, Sloane Stephens have progressed to quarter-finals. Both the Indian women's and men's 10-meter air rifle teams reached the medal rounds of their respective events on competition day 3 of the ISSF World Cup in Baku, Azerbaijan on Monday. The women did one better than their male counterparts, making it to the gold medal match against Denmark on Tuesday. The men's team will take on Croatia on the same day for a shot at bronze. Former world number 1 Ilavenil Valarivan, Ramita and Shreya Agarwal first topped qualification stage 1 of the 10-meter air rifle team women event with a combined effort of 944.4 over 90 shots among 17 competing teams. They then came second in stage 2 behind Denmark to make the title round. The trio shot 628.6 to Denmark's 629.2 after all three team members shot 20 shots each. In the 10-meter air rifle team men competition, the Indian trio of Rudraksh Balasaheb Patil, Dhanush Shrikant and Parth Makhija finished third in qualification stage 2 to make it to the bronze medal match. India have fielded a 12-member rifle-only squad in this World Cup.
In Asia Cup hockey, India kept their title hopes alive after playing out a thrilling 3-3 draw in the Asia Cup 2022 Super Fours match against Malaysia at the GBK Sports Complex Hockey Stadium in Jakarta, Indonesia on Sunday. India are currently placed in the second position in the Super Fours pool table of Asia Cup 2022 with 4 points after having beaten Japan by 2-1 in their first Super Fours game on Saturday. India will play the next game of the Super Fours against Korea on Tuesday. In IPL cricket final, Hardik Pandya's all-round performance sparred debutants Gujarat Titans to 7-wicket win over Rajasthan Royals at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad on Sunday. Needing 131 runs to win, Gujarat Titans chased down the target with 7 wickets and 11 balls to spare.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. First, we have a look at the press reports on China. ET reports that the US surpassed China to become India's top trading partner in 2021-22, reflecting strengthening economic ties between the two countries. CNN writes, UN Human Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet, whose rare visit to China was criticized by rights groups and Western countries, said she urged Beijing to review its counterterrorism policies to ensure they comply with international human rights standards. The Guardian writes, China's financing of overseas projects has disproportionately benefited the core political supporters of incumbent presidents or prime ministers of those countries that receive the funds, according to a new book, Banking on Beijing. Bloomberg writes that China is in danger of exporting fresh inflation turmoil, shows survey.
Now let's have a look at the press reports on Nepal. The Himalayan Times writes that Nepal's economy is expected to expand by 5.8% in the current financial year ending mid-July, held by a pickup in economic activity after a fall in COVID-19 cases. Republica reports that the government has decided to waive license and renewal fees for hotels and businesses related to tourism to revive the tourism sector battered by the impact of COVID-19. Republica reports that President Bidya Devi Bhandari has wished happiness, peace and prosperity to all the Nepali brothers and the sisters living at home and abroad on the occasion of 15th Republic Day. Annapurna Express reports that the Indian Embassy in Kathmandu has donated a school bus to a school and an ambulance to a rural municipality in Mustang district.
Now let's have a look at the press reports on Pakistan. Pakistan Observer reports that electricity shortfall in the country has peaked at 6,000 megawatt after power plants face a supply shortage of oil and gas, resulting in up to 12 hours of load shedding nationwide. Pakistan Observer reports that former Prime Minister and PTI Chairman Imran Khan has accused the Shehbaz Sharif-led coalition government of planning to recognize Israel following a delegation's visit.
Now let's have a look at the press reports in Balochistan. Balochistan Post also reports that the Voice for Missing Persons of Sindh Sajagi Forum and the Families of Missing Persons organized an independence march.
Now let's have a look at the press report on Afghanistan. Tolo News reports that the central bank is planning to change the current banking system into Islamic banking, a spokesman for the central bank said, without giving details about what the change will mean. Khama Press reports that the Kandahar Provincial Directorate for Propagation of Virtue and Prohibition of Vice, Maulvi Abdul Rahman, has issued a directive prohibiting single women without male mahrams from being transported by the province's urban transportation. Gandhara reports that chanting bread, work, freedom, some 24 women took to the streets of the Afghan capital of Kabul on May the 29th to protest against the Taliban's harsh restrictions on their rights.
Now let's have a look at the press reports in Bangladesh. Bangladesh Cabinet has asked the authorities to take prompt action against hoarding of rice, reports Pratham Alo. Bangladesh maritime ports of Chittagong, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Paira have been advised to hoist a local cautionary signal 3 as deep convection is taking place over the North Bay, reports Dhaka Tribune. Business Standard reports that Bangladesh and Portugal are working to establish direct shipping links between the two countries to create new prospects for fast, cost-effective and reliable shipping for the Bangladeshi exporters while sending regular consignments to Europe by sea.
A quick look at the headlines once again. India's Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu embarks on a 3-nation tour to Gabon, Senegal and Qatar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that his government is committed to fulfill the pursuit of service, good governance and welfare of the poor. External Affairs Minister of India Dr. S. Jaishankar says 8 years of Modi government's foreign policy has people at its center. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh emphasizes on free and open Indo-Pacific region for India's maritime security and global prosperity. Nepal authorities recover 21 bodies out of 22 people from wreckage of Tata Airline plane. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says that US view on China and on China-US relations are seriously miscalibrated. Param Anant, a supercomputing facility commissioned at Indian Institute of Technology, Gandhinagar in Gujarat. And in French Open tennis, Rohan Bopanna and his Dutch partner Motte Middelkoop take on Lloyd Glasspool and Harry Heliovara in men's doubles quarterfinal. And now before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Montenegro. And with that, we end this bulletin. We will be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.